Hi everyone, welcome to Trippin Tuesdays where we talk everything travel. So this week's episode is going to be about how to save some coins on when you're booking your flight. Now don't mind me, I was in the gym. I just came out for a quick break just to give you guys these few tips as travel is starting to open up and everyone's trying to get flued out since the world is opening up. So the one thing I wanted to get you guys a little bit of knowledge about is something called skip lag. Now this won't work for every one of your flights, but a lot of people don't know about it, so I'm going to spell it out for you. It's SKIPLAGGED. Now you can find that both on a desktop or you can find it on an app. And skip lag is really cool because let's just say you're going from Detroit to, let's see, New York. Sometimes the computer will give you a crazy fare, a crazy high rate, like $500 to go from Detroit to New York. But what skip lag will do is it'll have you enter in your departing city, which is Detroit, and your arrival city, which is New York. It will go in its database and search their computers to find flights that use New York as the connection airport. Now stay with me. So on a connection flight, you usually would land in New York and then go on a new plane to wherever your destination was going. Well, skip lag will have you book that flight as if you're going to go to your final destination and then you never get on that plane. So I'll walk you through it one more time. So let's just say your itinerary where you want to go is Detroit to New York, but it's giving you a $500 fare. On skip lag, you'll enter that you're leaving from Detroit and that you want to go to New York. But the computer might find a flight going from Detroit to Orlando for $250 with a connection stop in New York. What that means is you can go ahead and book that flight from Detroit to Orlando, get off at your connection in New York, and you never get on your other plane. Now, the only loophole is that you cannot check in a bag, obviously, because your bag is going to go to wherever your final destination is. For this example would be Orlando. But if you're going somewhere for the weekend, if you know how to pack light, this would be a great alternative, and you can save hundreds of dollars by doing this. So I've used it before and there's no penalty. You just don't get on that second connection, just as if you were to miss your flight in a normal circumstance. So go check that out. It's skip lag, SKIPLAGGED, both on a desktop and an app. Now, the next little hint I wanted to give you guys about booking flights is a lot of times people don't know that if you maneuver a flight and break it down yourself, it'll give you a cheaper rate than what the computer will give you. So I actually just sat here for like the last 5 minutes just to be able to give you guys a real life example. Now, I live in Detroit, so I put that my destination city is leaving from Detroit. And I just happened to plug in a city, Barcelona. So I said I wanted to do a round trip from Detroit to Barcelona from July 15th to July 23rd. Leaving out of Detroit, the cheapest rate that I could find for that flight was $1,200. Okay, so a normal traveler, somebody who doesn't really know that you could break this down yourself and find a cheaper rate, would probably say, oh, that's a good deal, and go ahead and book it. Not me though. So what you can actually do is find a cheaper city, find another major hub that's near you that won't cost a lot to get to you. For example, me living in Detroit, it's very easy for me to get to New York or to Chicago. I can get to Chicago by Greyhound, by Megabus, by train, or even by a flight. They're very, very cheap. New York is very cheap by flight as well. So I'm going to give you 2 examples on how to bring that Detroit to Barcelona flight down from $1,200. I went ahead and plugged in Chicago to Barcelona for the same exact dates. That flight was only $800. Now you're probably wondering, well, how do I get from Detroit to Chicago? Wasn't that going to cost me a lot of money? Not at all. On plane, a round trip from Detroit to Chicago is $100. And I plugged those dates in for July 15th and then July 23rd, since we're doing an international trip. So it would always bring you home a day later. So if you add 800 plus 100, your total for that flight is $900. I just saved $300 by booking the flight a little differently than what the search engine wanted me to do. Now I'm going to do that again with an even better deal. Let's say I still want to go from Detroit to Barcelona, but I want it even cheaper than how I found it going through Chicago. I typed in JFK. JFK is an awesome alternative to leave for international flights. So from JFK to Barcelona, that same flight for the same dates, July 15th to July 22nd, was only priced at $681. A lot of savings. Once again, how do you get from Detroit to JFK? Book another flight. So I booked a flight from Detroit to JFK, both leaving a day early and arriving a day later than the international trip, and that round trip was $97. So 97 plus 681 is less than $1,200. That trip's going to cost you about $800. So right there, I just saved $400 on a trip I was going to take by just leaving out of Detroit. So go ahead and play with some major airports. Some other major airports you could use depending on where you guys are located in the country are BWI. You can also do LaGuardia. You could also do Dulles. You could also do Dallas sometimes. So just depending on where you are in the country will determine how much it'll cost you to get to that major hub, which 9 times out of 10, leaving out of a major hub is a lot cheaper. Also, to my Detroiters, if you have a valid passport, don't exclude Canada. So you can actually leave through Windsor and you can save a couple of $100s just by leaving out of Windsor Airport versus Detroit Metro Airport. I actually did this when I flew out to Rome and saved $400. Windsor Airport is so easy to fly out of. It's about 10 or 15 minutes from the border, so it's a great alternative to my Detroiters. Last tip before I check out of here is while you're searching for airfare, make sure to search on a private browser. So for my iPhone users, you know how when you open up a new screen at the bottom right, it'll have like a little square, but then on the other side, on the left, it'll say private. Go ahead and search through that. See, airlines know when you're searching for flights, and you ever wonder why you go to check out of a flight and it says, oops, sorry, the flight just went up. I mean, you might spend an hour looking for flights, and trust me, the airlines know. They are watching. I don't know, the computer people out there know in the computer world, but they know, and the flights will actually go up as you are searching, and it's a win for them, not really a win for you. When you're searching on a private browser, the outer space computer world for airlines, they don't know. So actually make sure you can do that on both your phone and on a desktop. I know Chrome has an incognito window that will allow you to search privately as well. So those are my tips for you today, short and sweet. I'm going to go back to my workout, and I hope you guys found this helpful. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday at 8 o'clock for Travel Tuesdays. Bye guys.